Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. We told you that we were going to do something unique this week. We were out in the University of Wyoming last week and we had them honoring a group called the Black 14. If you haven't heard about the Black 14, we'll try to enlighten you a little bit right now about what it was about. It was about 14 young men, and they call it now 50 Years of Courage. 50 years ago, 14 black young athletes were put off a team because they wanted to protest the treatment that they were having with Brigham Young University. It came really nasty and ugly, and what I want to do on this show, and you know what, we're not wearing makeup, we're not doing anything. You see this shirt? This is my brother's shirt. This is the Black 14, and what I want you to know is my fans, how each and every one feel. So we're gonna have this week a Black 14 just kicking it. I'm gonna start with one of the most talkative individuals, but has done a lot, and we'll get a lot of information on the team. He and I were really the only two that had played against Brigham Young. So it was our idea to wear black armbands. His name is Guillermo Highsaw. Guillermo, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You know I'm nervous with you, Guillermo, because you know you always own me, man. What's up?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the Black 14. You know,
right.
It changed your life, but it changed it for the better. But reflect back to me, if I didn't know, when did your feelings start to come about the Black 14? When did you start feeling about Brigham Young? Was it the game we played prior to that year? You felt the treatment that you got, and what feelings did you have when we went into being the Black 14?
Well, in terms of the game itself, yeah, it was the year before when we were actually there and they turned the sprinklers on us. We were the last two coming off the field. They turned the sprinklers on us, and my recollections can be corrected. However, I remember going into the locker room and I saw a picture of a gorilla and a black man. And I'm wondering, what's that all about? And then we went to the water and I was wondering, what was that all about? We didn't get a chance to talk about it, but it wasn't just us because other team members, you know, they didn't turn around and say, you know, how come you guys are coming in here wet? You know, so I started thinking about that. It was the next day that, and somebody to this day can't seem to find the Salt Lake Tribune's headline on the front page, not the sports page, that said Brigham Young washes evil off the field. So I'm thinking, okay, so that's what the sprinklers was about. And then I started to do a little research on the LDS church. And then hearing the whole story about how they were being kicked out all across this, you know, and then the revelations that Brigham had. And one of the revelations he had was that we were descendants of Ham or Cain, depending on which version you read of the Book of Mormon, and that we were cursed.
Black men can never rise to the higher echelon of man.
That's right. Couldn't go to heaven after death, couldn't be a Mormon priest because we were lower than the lowest order of life, which was the primate. So then that brought into perspective the gorilla and the black man.
I was drafted in the NFL by the Chicago Bears. That's where I met this young lady here 47 years ago. And she's still hanging around me. Yeah, y'all better give her applause because I'm gonna catch it when we get back to the room. And I played with the Bears for 3 years, and then I went to New England. I played 7 years, and then I went to Washington, played 3 years. I was able to go to 2 Super Bowls. And after that, my wife and I settled in Virginia, and we opened a physical therapy. And we had that for 14 years. And now, right now, this young man that's taking my picture 35 years ago, he came to me and a young man and he said, "Why don't y'all start a television show?" This year is our 35th year. Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. Mike Baker right there. But you know, it's not, I'm just giving you, as Guillermo said, that's my bridge thing. There's a lot of things we could say. But I'm just here, and I want to thank my fellow brothers, because you didn't have to come back. I want to thank us for being tight. We've had our arguments. Me and Guillermo got into it a couple of weeks ago. When we leave here tonight, I'm jumping on him again. But Ryan Hill, all these guys. And you know what? The thing about it is no fake. It's love. But we also feel your love. And we want you to tell everyone in this town, because we walk down the street and people say, "Hey, we're glad to have you back." That makes us feel good. And Guillermo, you said something important. I thank Eden for what he did, because he made us grow up. He treated us very bad. He punished us for something we never got an opportunity to do. I don't know if you know the story, but even now to this day, it's individuals that don't know the true story. So during this course of the week, if you want to come up to me anytime, I will tell you the story. Any of us will. But I want to thank all of you, all my brothers, and my wife. Here y'all on the campus of the University of Wyoming. You in a place, when I was here, I never came over here. They call it, I think, library. This is my first time seeing it, but you know what? It's a wonderful thing being back here. The Black 14, we're on a tour right now, so we must go. Mike Baker's here shooting everything. They probably want to give him a job now. He's doing very good. We'll be back in a moment.
We were so excited being married and coming out here. We couldn't wait to get here, and we finally got her a job, and she was happy about that, and I was on a team, and things were going great until that one day where Lloyd Eaton changed our lives, but changed it in a good way right about now, I'm thinking. So it's good to be back.
We're at the Student Union now. As I told you earlier in this broadcast, that I never went to the library, but this is a place I was every day, the social event. But if you look at these nice banners that they put up here for us, that's really outstanding. But the Student Union is where we used to meet, the Student Union is where we used to greet, and the Student Union is where we used to eat. It's in one and only, and this is one of the buildings that still looks similar to when I was here. Make me feel like I'm home.
I wanted to give you this to you. This is all the illustrations of the plants in the Williams Conservatory here on campus.
Oh, and this is your work.
Yeah, it's all original.
You're very talented.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, Mike, as you look at this is the famous place where a picture was taken. Hi, Saul, can you hold that picture so Mike can maybe zoom in on it? A lot of us weren't here when they took this picture, but what you have to understand, this is history that we're standing on now. And we're making history right now by coming back. Mike, when you look at this, you're looking at history. Guys, these are the famous steps, and many of these are the famous guys. And we thank you for watching us, because we'll be back. Don Meadows, nose guard, Denver, Colorado. Earl Lee, offensive guard, starting offensive guard. Ivy Moore, Hot Springs, Arkansas, defensive back supreme. John Griffin, California wide receiver. He looks like a California, don't he? Jimmy Isaac, running back, Wyoming native. Ted Williams, my roommate, running back, tough as they come. Mel Hamilton, the other starting offensive guard. And you know what? Mel was a mayor of a city at one time. He'll have to tell you about that. Jay Berry, defensive back, 6'2", 210. 2 interceptions for touchdowns in 4 games, and the record still stands. Lionel Grimes, professor, great defensive back, but you can see by the glasses the guy is smart. Tony McGee, rode the tail coach of all these players. Joe Williams, running back, played for Dallas, was able to get a Super Bowl ring. Guillermo Highsaw, Bakersfield, California. It isn't nothing I have seen that this guy can't do. Let him say it. Wide receiver. Tony Gibson, fullback supreme. One of the hardest workers you ever see. And last but not least, we call him Alabama Buck, but his name is Ron Hill, number 81. Now, Mike Baker, I know your boss, and this is going to cost you extra. For you fans, this is free. We'll see you later in the minute.
What did you do like when you were being blackballed by all the colleges like across the country? Like
a young man on this picture, number 21, Jay Berry. We became real good friends. He was going down to a school that no longer exists called Bishop College in Dallas, Texas. The guy interviewed, he sent some articles down. The coach interviewed me over the phone. He bumped me down there for spring ball. I had high blood pressure, couldn't play, but he gave me a full ride. And not only did he give me a full ride, he gave my girlfriend a cheerleader scholarship, and they didn't even have a cheerleading team. So I played for them 1 year. I played 9 games. I had 109 tackles, so I had a really good year. And as I said, I made Black College All-American. I made the Chicago Tribune best 48 players in the country. And I did that, and once I got out, but you have to understand, when I came to the University of Wyoming, I had turned down Nebraska, I had turned down Michigan State, none of them came back. But the thing that I came here for was I knew some of the players here, and I never thought I'd play pro ball. I came to get an education. So that was my focus. And then once I did get an opportunity to play pro ball, I wanted to make sure after pro ball that I was doing something. So my wife and I started a physical therapy company, and we kept that for 14 years, excuse me. And then Mike and I started a television show. We did that for 35 years. And now I'm working for the NFL as a uniform inspector, and I've been doing that for 26 years. So my focus was always to be the best you can be at what you do, but be consistent in everything you do.
The case went through the local court, went to the district court. It was on the docket to go to the Supreme Court. We never got heard at the Supreme Court. Of course, we were losing at the lower levels here in the state of Wyoming, which we expected. But the district court judge made a ruling. And in that ruling, here's what he said. And by the way, Coach Eaton didn't have the authority to dismiss us unilaterally. He didn't have that power. Wyoming is a state-supported school. So state, if you're on scholarship, that's same as being an employee of the state. So the only person that can dismiss you is the governor. Governor Hathaway happened to be coming for the game that next day. Didn't even know about it. And then he was hit with, hey, Eaton did this and that. So there was a big meeting, and we had it with the trustees. We had it with the president of the university. They canvassed all of us, so all of us could tell their experience and their story and their feelings about what was going to happen. Why were we over there to see the coach in the first place? Why? You said it. But we wanted to get his opinion about us wearing this armband. This is an actual armband with a 14 on it. And we were going to wear that in the game if he said okay. But had he not, we had already decided amongst ourselves that we were not going to do that. This rule that he said we violated, that we defied him, and McGee can tell you about the quote, but the judge's ruling came out and said the Board of Trustees, the president of the university, the coach, and the governor, their decision to dismiss the Black 14 was not predicated on the existence or non-existence of a rule. What does that mean? Once again, let me say it again. That decision to dismiss us was not predicated on the existence or non-existence of a rule. So why were we dismissed?
It should be noted, though, that the protest here in Laramie wasn't the first protest against BYU. That there were some black track people at UTEP the previous year who refused to participate in a meet with BYU, and they were kicked off the team also. And then when BYU went to play San Jose State the year before, there was so much tension that they actually played it in a fairly empty stadium. And that was a protest, a very serious one. So, I mean, it was well known that there was problems with playing BYU. But it didn't seem like anyone in Wyoming, the coach, or anyone in the higher areas were at all familiar with the struggle of African Americans in America, or with, these problems with BYU. So,
upon our visit, we wore black armbands to speak to Coach Eaton. And the moment we arrived to speak to him, he was enraged, and he met us in the room off of I think they call it the Cow Palace, where he immediately began to berate us, speak to us as like we were children, and told us if we wanted to do this kind of thing, we needed to go back to the Grambling College of the Morgan States of the country. He did not listen to anything we had to say.
How did that make you feel?
Well, I was very upset. I could not believe that he didn't want to hear what we had to say. He immediately made a decision on dismissing us from the football team for doing nothing, basically. It was very upsetting.
The year before I got here, they played BYU, and after the game, I heard that they had turned the water on the team. And what somebody had told me that they were trying to cleanse the field. So then they came and told me that. So that's what I figured that we were going over there. So we all went over there. But the funny part is it was a nice sunny day. So I don't know where the jackets came in. And then they're saying that all 14 black players had armbands. I never had an armband, so I don't know how that story got started. Mm-hmm. But everybody's going to play. They want to see what they can protest. They didn't say they were going to wear the armbands. And before it had anything, we all marched into the field house. And he goes, I tell you, gentlemen, red men in there, you got all the team. You'll never play a football game here alive. And you need to go back where you came from. And I don't know how to say this, but you guys could go back on Negro release. That's what we were told. And that was it. And he just walked off. He picked on like Tony McGee and a couple other people, told that they found Tony walking the street picking up cigarette butts. That was sad.
This is a great day. Wouldn't have happened without these two. I can promise you that. Lots of stuff out there, but I was there at that game because I've been watching this cat with the glasses. That was when I weighed 260 and had hair and thought beer was food and played first string defense. And I said to Ann, who was back there, and Brother Pete, look at this guy McGee. He picks people to bits. In the early part of that season, I think he did 11 sacks. Then he went off to Bishop. Never felt a bit of bitterness toward the University of Wyoming, which is really quite remarkable. Could have. Then played 8 years with the Patriots, 3 years with the Bears, 3 years with the Redskins, all pro, 2 Super Bowl rings. So the minute I hit Washington, I called him. I said, "Hey, Tony, one of your admirers here." Way up in the balcony. We didn't have season tickets then. And I was here and watched the Board of Trustees and the officers of Wyoming hide in the basement of Old Man. And these men have an attorney who wanted to talk, and they cut him off. It's called, in my profession, due process. I was offended totally by it. Let me tell you the stuff that was floating around in this state. So Tony and I'd get together, have lunch, talk about our wives. Oh, I don't mean that. I mean, the difficulty of living with someone 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. No. So anyway, we started to put this stuff together. And there was lots of heavy stuff out there. You know, demands, rejections. And Tony was the guy that kept it together. And whatever you're going to see today and part of this, in this place that is so proud to present this day for you on the 50th anniversary, because what happened destroyed the university programs for 20 years. And Tony even came back a couple times, you know, just say if the coaches want me to say something to the kids, I'll do it.
At this time, I would like to ask John Griffin to come up and speak on behalf of the group.
It's the first time in 50 years we've been back on this campus together. And 50 years later, we're getting a plaque with our names on it, and a little bit of history of what went on. And the experiences of what we've experienced this week has been overwhelming to all of us.
Today, you're standing on the shoulders of giants. What these men did all those years ago, you're standing on the shoulders of giants. So today you have a responsibility to go out and explode and play the game with love, not hate. To embrace this day and to accept these men. Now, many years ago, these guys had their jerseys taken away. And rightfully so, we're going to give them their jerseys today.
Number 22 from San Diego, California, John Griffin. Number 23 from Alliance, Ohio, Lionel Grimes. Number 65 from Boys Town, Nebraska, Wyoming's own Bill Hamilton. Number 81 from Denver, Colorado, Ron Hill. Number 20 from Bakersfield, California, Guillermo Hudson. And number 66 from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Earl Lee, represented by the son Brian, and the state of football. Number 80 from Battle Creek, Michigan, Tony. Number 33 from Pine Bluffs, Arkansas, I.D. Moore. Unfortunately, and that takes you to the last minute. Number 24 from Point White, California. Please give me but I'll tell you one thing. I went and got my leather jacket, and now these wonderful guys have the same jacket. And the nicest thing about all this is that this is a time of renewal and refreshment, and remembering always that hate corrodes the clean painter's charity. With that, think of it, boys. How many times have we almost failed except one?
I'm here with my fellow brothers, you know, Ron Hill, Griffin, Tony, and Guillermo. We all feel the same way. You know, we've been bitter or we've been mad, but right now, the Black 14, the way they were 50 years ago, is gone. The new ones are here now. From now on, we talk positive stuff about the Black 14, and these guys here will be a positive part of it.